Hi guys, as you may expect from the title, I'm going to do a full exam review with May 24 IB English A literature papers. If you have a particular interest in a certain paper for revision, do check the description box and find the timestamp for one. Alright then, let's give it a go. Yes, here comes paper 1. As you can see, the instruction tells us a bit about the given extracts. And actually this short one is a pretty nice guide to understand the general mood and situation of the given scene. So if you find it difficult to grasp the situation going on while you're reading, since it is a random scene from a random novel or play, if that happens, you can come back to check the instruction one more time. That should be a good start. Guiding question? All right, so apart from the basic information that you should write in the introduction, such as identifying the source of the excerpt, summary of the scene given, and the thesis statement that is answering the guiding question, apart from all that, let me focus on the main contents. So first, I can analyze the character Mag's patronizing attitude towards her sister. As a successful writer who is recently awarded, she keeps her patronizing attitude toward her sister, who noted the news of her current interest in learning classic literature. Such is illustrated with the use of symbolism, which is on Chaucer, who is a major early English poet. This well symbolizes the classics that her sister highly praises, but Meg does not. Also, there are italicized words and inverted commas to reveal her attitude of looking down on her sister. Next point to analyze is her sarcastic attitude towards the culture that her sister represents. First, the use of parody can be a good evidence for this attitude. She uses rather jokey but snobbish way to parodies the Shakespeare talk going around barbecue. So this one well illustrates her attitude towards the culture that her sister represents. Also, her husband Edwin's humorous tone well intensifies the attitude. Lastly, the use of generalization within the term whole middle class well sums up her notion towards the people and the culture. Last is about her disappointed and insecure attitude. The use of effective stage direction well manifests Meg's inner insecurity. Also, her straightforward words that include bitter and reserved tone reveal the fact that she actually feels insecure and disappointed by her sister's letter, which does not include anything about her book and her award winning. Lastly, such an attitude can be best clarified with her rhetorical question. As you all know, restating the thesis along with a few words that talk about the reader impact would be good enough for conclusion. All right, this is the end of the first text analysis. Let me move on to the next one. Again, the instruction tells us what the excerpt is about. And the guiding question. Don't forget the fact that your introduction should include a few key elements such as identifying the source of the extract, summary of the scene, and the thesis statement that is answering the guiding question. Then here comes the main content. From the excerpt, one noticeable contrast that is found is the one between youth and old. The writer contrasts the ephemeral beauty of the cherry blossoms with the transient nature of human life. The cherry blossoms are at their peak only for a short period, symbolizing the fleeting nature of life itself. And these are well illustrated with the writer's use of visual imagery, symbolism, and diction. You can check the details on your own, which are all written in here. The writer shows another contrast between Japan's rich cultural traditions and modern, fast-paced life of the country. So while the cherry blossom season is deeply rooted in centuries-old customs, the urbanization and technological advances of modern Japan creates a sharp contrast with these old traditions. Such idea is highlighted with the use of juxtaposition between city and countryside, and symbolism of Shinkansen, and the use of the term wabi-sabi. The term is casted to show the country's aesthetic philosophy that encourages people to find beauty in imperfection and impermanence. The last type of contrast I could find is the one between the past and present. First, the user personification. The cherry blossoms tell another story. This one implies the long history that the trees and flowers have gone through. And the illusion, which can be found from the mentioning of an atom bomb in 1945, this one illustrates a historical tragedy that people, nature, and the whole country went through, all like well contrasted with the city's beautiful landscape that is completely transformed from the past. And the vivid imagery that depicts the present city's prosperous view puts a final touch on the contrast between the past and present. Again, don't forget to finish your conclusion with restating the thesis and putting a few words that talk about the read impact. That would work to finish your essay. All right, this is the end of Paper 1 review. What's coming up is Paper 2. It's time to check Paper 2 essay prompt from the May 24 exam. As we all know, every English teacher in our schools has different selections of literary text, which means there should be a myriad of different combinations of Paper 2 texts that candidates have for their exam. One would prepare Paper 2 with Macbeth and A Handmaid's Tale, and the other goes with Persepolis and A Kite Runner. In that regard, what I'm going to do in this exam review is to simply give you a guide on how to understand the prompt and compose ideas. And perhaps from the ideas that I present, you can get some hints and relevant ideas to analyze your own text. Then, long rambling short, let's give it a go. Number 1. Writers often use more conventional settings to highlight the contrasting strangeness of events or characters. Referring to 2 works you have studied, explore how this has been achieved and to what effect. If you choose this prompt for your essay, what you have to focus on is the contrast between conventional settings and strange events or characters occurring there, not to mention its effect. So potentially you can compose your ideas first by analyzing the ordinary and mundane suburb town contrasted with the extraordinary event happening there, such as someone mysterious arriving, someone dying, or someone missing. How about peaceful nature as a setting that is contrasted with supernatural occurrences, such as magical or spiritual events or characters, etc.? Last one can be probably the most common, which is about the contrast between conventional social structure and the individual alienation, like within the traditional or religiously strict setting, one is going against it, you know. Next question, referring to 2 works you have studied, explore how and to what effect writers make use of myth and legend. Maybe one way that we can think of the writer's use of myth and legend is to explore the idea of mortality and destruction, maybe through characterization within the text. Next would be as a reflection of human obsession and greed via its climax or ending, maybe like the character development as well. Last is to explore existential agony via its main event or conflicts. You can find a few more ideas that popped in my mind, such as to examine good versus evil, and to explore personal growth and destiny, or to explore trauma and redemption. Third question, discuss how 2 works you have studied make the reader question preconceived ideas and how this is achieved by the writer. I reckon this question must have been the one that was chosen the most by the candidates, since it is pretty typical. Anywho, you should think of preconceived ideas representatively social, cultural, or gender customs illustrated in text, and you should analyze how writers use them to make readers question on. So potentially, you can find some challenges on social norms like cultural, religious customs that are not necessarily desirable, and not deserved to be preserved. Next can be about the deconstructing race and power dynamics. So it should be about the old and deeply rooted racial discrimination or class division that should be criticized. Last can be about subverting gender expectations within patriarchal society. So how the existence of distorted gender norms that are questioned and like attempted to be subverted, you know. Here come a few more ideas like questioning morality and justice, questioning power structures and ideologies, etc. Last, question number 4. How do two works we have studied portray the relationship between humanity and nature? I thought about a few ways to compose ideas with the prompt. First, nature as a force of personal transformation. So I reckon you can analyze how two texts depict personal transformation during engagement with nature, but somehow the ways in which nature shapes different characters can be pretty significantly different. Next, we can see the nature as a reflection of cycle of life and death, which means you can explore nature's role in illustrating the cycle of life and death, particularly in relation to human suffering, creation, and the consequences of defying natural order. Last, we can see the nature as a symbol of innocence that is lost. This idea, there can be an analysis on how nature is used as a symbol of innocence that is long gone, and how we fall into corruption or immorality. One more idea is to see nature as a mirror for human relationships. All right, this is the end of paper 2 exam review. Thanks for watching. Bye.